Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 greatest Divas champions in WWE history. Now, the Divas era might not be a favourite time for a lot of fans, but we did get some solid champions during the title's history, so it's our job to take a look back and rank them from 5 down to 1. With the first WWE brand extension in 2002, WWE assigned its employees to different television programs and touring companies. The WWE Women's Championship was originally to be defended on both brands. At some point that year, however, it became exclusive to the Raw brand. Thereafter, only Divas on the Raw brand were able to compete for the title, while the Divas on the SmackDown brand were unable to compete for a women's exclusive championship. Now, over the next couple of years, there were odd SmackDown Divas that did challenge it on a very, very rare occasion, but they were mainly unsuccessful. In 2008, SmackDown General Manager Vickie Guerrero announced the creation of the SmackDown's own title, the Divas Championship. The Divas of SmackDown competed in what was known as a Golden Dream matches for a chance to become the first ever Divas Champion. And at the Great American Bash pay-per-view, Michelle McCool did just that, defeating Natalya for the Butterfly Belt. There were 26 total reigns and 1 vacancy, when Eve, Torres and AJ Lee held the record for the most reigns as Divas Champion with 3 each. AJ Lee held the record for the most combined days as champion with a total of 406 days, while Nikki Bella held the record for the longest individual reign at 301 days. Jillian Hall had the shortest reign at just 5 minutes. And Paige was the youngest Divas champion in history at the age of 21, and was also the only woman to ever win the title in her debut. So who are the greatest Divas champions in WWE history? Well, join me as we rank them from 5 down to 1, and as always, feel free to let me know your top 5 in the comments section below. And make sure while you do to hit that subscribe button too. So we'll start at number 5. Paige. Paige's title victory is arguably the best out of every title change during the Divas Championship era. Winning the title in her debut match on Raw after WrestleMania 30, ending AJ Lee's iconic 295-day reign. Paige was also the NXT Women's Champion at the time, but would have to vacate the title after winning the Divas Championship. Now, Paige's reign was a breath of fresh air to the division. She then defended the title over several women that didn't usually get a title shot at the time, facing the likes of Tamina, Alicia Fox, Naomi and Cameron. Paige's first run with the title lasted a total of 84 days, but she was able to once again defeat AJ Lee at SummerSlam to regain it for a second run. Number 4. Eve Torres. Now, Eve was the first Diva to win the title 3 times. While that on its own doesn't necessarily earn her a place on our list, it definitely is a plus in her favour. In 2010 and 2011, Eve would capture the title twice, first defeating Maryse and then Layla. But it was in fact her third reign with the title that was her best. She was a heel at the time, and her alliance with the general managers helped her a lot. Eve is one of the first women that fans think of when the title is mentioned, and that is mainly because she held it for a total of 261 days. And Eva's probably, to be fair, the diva who improved the most after becoming champion, both on the microphone and in the ring. Number 3. Charlotte Flair. Charlotte only had one reign with the Divas belt, but everything about that reign was memorable. She fought all the big names to retain her title, from Paige, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. But Charlotte was always remained supreme, and she would probably have kept it going even longer if WWE had not done away with the Divas Championship. Charlotte held the title for 195 days and would be the last woman in WWE to do so. She went into WrestleMania 32 as the Divas Champion, but WWE Hall of Famer Lita announced that instead of it being for the Divas Championship, the winner of the triple threat match would actually be crowned the new Women's Champion, thus retiring the Divas title. And Charlotte would actually go on to win that match and the new championship. So in at number 2, AJ Lee. Now with number 1 and 2, I did go back and forth for a while on where I would eventually rank them, but I've decided to go with AJ in as number 2. But I'll be honest, only by a very slight margin. AJ Lee would hold the title on 3 occasions for a record combined number of days at 405. Her first reign was her best at 295 days, which was a record at the time. Lee played a major part in changing the Divas division and making it feel more legit. AJ was the only champion to defend the title at WrestleMania in 2014. In the Vicky Guerrero Invitational, defeating 13 other Divas. AJ Lee and Paige probably had the most memorable feud out of the Divas era, and Lee put Paige over in a massive way on her way out of the company. So if AJ Lee is in at number 2, that can only mean one thing. In at number 1, Nikki Bella. Now, Nikki held the title twice. While her first win lasted just short 6 days, her second reign broke records. She held the title for 301 days, making her the longest reigning Divas champion in history. She may not be loved by all, but it cannot be denied how much Nikki had improved by her second run. During this reign, Nikki found herself in the middle of the Divas Revolution storyline. The title and Nikki just seemed to click. She was dominant throughout the division, including defeating the next generation of stars who had started to make their way up from NXT. Admittedly, she had to have some help on occasion to keep the Divas title from her sister Brie, and a little bit of that twin magic. Her feud with Charlotte and the road to 300 days storyline was great, with Charlotte at one point thinking that she'd actually defeated Nikki before she could break the record, only for Stephanie to come down and tell her that she'd actually pinned the wrong Bella. So that is our top 5. Nikki Bella as the greatest ever Divas champion. So do you agree with our list? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to hit that like, leave us a comment and subscribe to the Wrestling Group today.